Hello everybody, my name is Moon and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do another roadmap review. However, since this whole month was basically just a couple of weeks for an event, this is also going to be acting as the review for the Equestrian Festival. So with that being said, my grading for this is going to be a little bit different than what I normally do. Instead of breaking down different parts, I'm going to be grading this whole thing with a whole entire grade system and then put it into an overall grade scale point out of 10. So I'm still going to be doing the typical breakdown each week. However, I'm more so also going to be discussing the pros and cons after I break down each week. Especially because throughout this event, we had some shit happen. And oh boy, even got some of my personal experience with this. For also this event, I will also put down my first impressions when I first saw the trailer and how I thought about it, because it will also make more sense for this review and my suspicions for how this event was going to play out. In terms of when this video is coming out, you're either going to be seeing this on something that's not May 1st or May 1st, which y'all, May 1st is actually my 20th birthday. I'm a disgusting 20-year-old. So basically y'all just met me when I was 19, some of y'all when I was like still in high school, but yes, I'm a 20-year-old college student, and if you wanted to send birthday wishes, y'all can do that right now, or if it's too late, that's okay. All right, so without further ado, let's dive right into this review. So my initial first impression from right off the bat of how this trailer went, honestly, as I was looking at the trailer, it looked nice on the outside. However, as I looked further at what it had to offer, I was more so skeptical. And here's why. On the outside, from basing on how the trailer went, it really just looked like a glorified open house. However, when they were showing portions of Moorland and other areas, saying that there's some new stuff, it honestly just looked like stuff that we've had before in other events. Little did I know this was going to be proven to be basically right as I went through this whole event after this trailer. So overall, I would really say for this trailer, it just looked like a stereotypical format of what we had for open house, especially when they first started adding the dressage arena look and a bunch of other shit. And then when looking at the roadmap, I was also still skeptical, because especially with the descriptions of what's in the event, it seemed just basically stuff that we've basically heard before. And on top of that, now when I'm about to dive into each week, it is completely different in terms of some stuff that they've mentioned, mainly because of the fact that they put some promises in here on how this event was going to be a blast. So without further ado, let's dive into the first week of the event. So this is the first week of the event. Initially in the roadmap, it said we were going to be able to meet up with Linda first, which, wow. Apparently now as I'm looking forward, that they said like look for Linda outside your home stable, which I did not find Linda at my home stable. It more so basically was like go talk to Tan. Oh Jesus. So Tan basically gave you the tour of what the fuck you're supposed to do. They gave free transport to not only going to your stables, but also transport to the championships, because this time they actually incorporated championships into the event. Now, one positive that I am so glad that they are finally doing with champs is that we are actually getting XP from champs and more Jorvik shillings, because before we didn't get much. We got like, I think like it was like 50 Jorvik shillings, but not that much of an incentive to actually do champs. So for the first time in a while, we see a lot of people going to champs than normal. And I'm talking about where there's actually a bigger wait time for groups.
Finally, they're gone. I can keep these pennies to myself now.
Now for the system that they've used this time for event currency, they use tokens. This isn't really anything new. However, for some reason this time, since this was basically mashing the open house event as well as other events that they've had prior to make this the Equestrian Festival, they decided to make the free vet care to make your horse happy again with tokens. Which, okay, even though you've done it free before, but all of a sudden you want to put something where you have to pay for it.
Y'all need some pillows? I got a lot of pillows over here.
Actually, yeah, we do need those pillows.
$12.99 a pillow.
12? No.
$12.99 a pillow.
Why is it $12.99?
$12.99 a pillow.
What are you talking about?
$12.99 a pillow.
Now, arguably, it's still free, sort of. However, you're still paying for something in exchange to do that. So they also revealed the first pet that you can buy with your tokens, and it was this bunny pet. They've also showcased some other pets that you could buy. However, there's also false advertising with the other bunny, this bunny, where it's showing the ears standing up, star stable. If you're actually going to have something completely different than what you put for as a model for your pictures, actually be accurate to what we're buying and not what we want to see. Like, come on, man. And they also introduced for the first time new dressage tack, which, great. We finally got updated dressage tack. However, I really wish he actually tried to put in the effort to try to have more horses be able to wear this gear, because right now it is very limited. This is something that I also have a gripe with SSO. Yes, y'all, we know that SSO is going to do this much later, but if the tack isn't ready to be put on every horse, please wait till you have an actual big amount of horses that can wear this, because this kind of technique honestly is just showing that you're just trying to get people to buy your new horses, and it really shows. Come on now. With also the tokens, you can also exchange to get new outfits. Now, I'm telling you right now, there's only 2 outfits that was actually worth it, and that was the golden dressage set and the western set. I'm not really going to be touching the western set that much. It's okay. It's kind of ugly, to be honest. So I really went for the golden baroque set and then just some accessories that I liked. Now, another pet that they've decided to add later on, which we're going to be discussing, one of the big issues with SSO, as always, when it comes to pricing, they also added some flowers that you can buy. SSO sweetie, honey, here's the thing. I know you gotta make your money, but listen, why price an object that's not even alive the same price as an animal pet? Because you're having us pay 350 star coins just about, if I remember correctly, to get some flowers. Honey, unless this is some flowers from Queen Elizabeth's wedding herself, these better be some worth-ass flowers, because what the fuck? This is just something I don't get with SSO's pet prices, because they are basically way too overpriced, even for normal animals. They don't have a purpose. All they do is just jump out of your pack, or they just sit there to look aesthetically cute for like your pictures and shit. Like, I wish they actually added purpose for their pets, man. Then the prices would be worth it. But since this is basically the same price as like a Jorvik pony, it's not worth it, ma'am. And as always, for if you wanted to be cute, is the dance floor and the lovely chit chat with your characters, which once again, not really something that's really gonna engage you. And this time they've also announced that Gen 2 lip zangers that have been with the open house for years are going to be removed, which this will be the first Gen 2 horse not here. They'll still have the other Gen 2's lip zangers, but for the variations from the event, they're not gonna be there. And of course, as always, we have the return of the Gen 3 Lusitano and the Gen 3 Buckskin Illusion, and also they returned the Gen 3 lovely Black Rubicano, but that's coming the next week that we're going to be discussing. And they added the first new variation, which is this English Thoroughbred. Honestly, this English Thoroughbred's pretty cute. I didn't buy it though because I ain't putting my money in SSO. And then they also decided that they were going to put in this new system for horse buying. And from what I saw, hallelujah, we can finally see the horse's gaits before buying, which means now people don't have to buy the actual horse when it comes to actually doing animations. Only half of the people got to see this, and what I'm hoping is this would further help SSO to actually see when a horse breed is lacking, because since we're basically at the moment right now still forced to just buy a horse to check out its animations, now we can actually see with this system that it will actually let SSO know that, hey, this horse breed is shit because of their animations, and they actually might try to work on shit maybe. Although, you and I both know, they probably ain't gonna do shit. They also then talked about Star Stable festivals, which is what they're trying to do for their new event system, where they want to have one for every season, which, okay. Basically, they want it to last 4 to 6 weeks, and they want them to be good. And then also they talked about how they fucking removed Fortuna Festival on Valentine's Day and Easter and April Fool's Day. And they're like, we don't want to know what you want for your favorite parts, so we can bring them back into these future events. We're going to be talking about if these are good, if this whole festival was a good replacement for those events, honestly. Then they also mentioned horse bonding, where they're saying they're hoping they're going to work on actually having horse bonding, because as we all know, SSO constantly says, will you make a bond with your horse, when we actually don't even fucking do that, which makes me curious on how they're going to do this and see if they're actually going to have horses be more than just a cosmetic item. And then they also have this shit in the bonus shop, but we don't give a fuck about that. As for how this week performed, as always, y'all, you know they're gonna have that first wave of like, oh wow, more people than the average specs that come onto the fucking server. Y'all, somehow in the first fucking day, if y'all have followed me on Instagram, which you should probably go do that, you may have remembered that I experienced a bug that I've never had experienced before in SSO. And I call this the disco floor UI, because it actually danced like a disco floor. Y'all, this game, god damn, I didn't know you were trying to be a disco flow. Jesus. Already in the first week, we're having fucking bugs with this game. If you're wondering how long this went on, as I was staring at this, it went on for like at least 5 minutes until I exited the convo, and basically what happened was this was triggered when I was transporting back from Yorvik Stables to Moreland, which I've never experienced that in my life, and this is coming from someone that doesn't experience much bugs, thankfully. But dear god, it's so... come on, man. And then, of course, y'all, since they made Champson insensitive, I do have later on in this video for the intermission of this review. I noticed y'all liked my edited portion of when I did my champs, when I tried the phone version of SSO, and y'all seemed to like it, so y'all are gonna get a similar intermission in this next one. But another thing I noticed when I was signing up for champs, basically, it also glitched for some reason. I couldn't really go and sign up for the champ. And also, after I logged back on, I also noticed that the countdown timer also had like a moving white box around on the timer. So you had to angle yourself to see what time it was actually going to start, which I've never seen that happen before for the champ timer in all my years of playing Star Stable. So this now concludes the first week of the event. Week 2. Oh god, week 2. So you see, we had a little bit of an accident happen here at Star Stable. So to give some context of what the hell happened on this Wednesday, we're going to be looking at a sneak peek that SSO gave out at least a couple of days prior to this. So SSO was doing one of their silhouette guess what horse this is for our next breed that's coming soon. And people were speculating it was going to be, hoping it was a Mustang or one of the breeds that has not been able to go on the Gen 2 train or even the Gen 3 honeymoon. Y'all know what I'm talking about. In fact, let's pay our respects to the Gen 1s that have unfortunately been forgotten by SSO. Thank you. So now that you've got context, this is what I'm about to tell you. Initially, what I typically do when I first get on Instagram is that I look at art stuff, because as y'all know, I actually do like doing art. I like doing edits, and I also follow some roleplay accounts and also some art accounts on SSO related stuff. Y'all, all of a sudden on one of the story stuff, since I was just looking through stories, one of the roleplay people that I follow, homegirl, was expressing about something that I have never thought I would see in all my years of SSO when it comes to horses, discussing how the unreleased horse that wasn't out yet was accidentally put in the game. And what is the horse breed, you may ask? The Pasifino. And I was like, wait, what? I then see that CC Creations did the typical, this is the spoiler new horse, showing off the stuff. And I was like, okay, this horse actually looks very nice. I then come to look that they actually accidentally put it in the game. As I went to look at the update post, and I'm honestly, I'm actually still flabbergasted that they're actually able to have this happen in SSO. Because somehow, in some Lord in heaven, an employee or somebody up there might have accidentally released them and put them where they were, just Steve's, without knowing. And this went out for release an hour from our release before they removed them again. But it was too late, girl. A bunch of people bought them. I've just never in my life have seen SSO accidentally release a horse. We've seen them accidentally release the birthday set and as well as other clothes, but never have I ever seen them accidentally release a horse. Which this basically confirms that SSO just has horses just sitting there, almost done or just basically already done. And my God, if you just have horses just sitting there, you just have it kicking up dust. Oh God, Jesus. We have now this split debate of people thinking that, oh, they should have just released the horses if it was already ready, instead of just taking it out of the game and then just waiting till May. And then there's also another set of people that would rather have them take back also the horses that people bought since they weren't finished and then refund their star coins. Personally, I am a little more on the side of they should have also took back people's horses as well, but they would also give back the horses or just the horse that they've bought, and essentially you got yourself a free horse. But yeah, I can also understand the other side of people that bought the horse. It's y'all's money, you legally paid for it, completely understandable. But really, what's y'all's opinion on if you think they should have just taken the horses and the people that own the horses, or just taken the horses out and let people keep the horses? Honestly, they were basically also almost done. Maybe like some minor shit they had to fix here and there, such as like animations, but overall they were very fucking good for being an almost done horse. Now for the actual things that happened this week, of course we have the return of this boring ass red string trail ride with the incentive of getting tokens. Nothing really new here. Then of course, for some reason, hey, we're going to just throw in Scott Buttergood while we already have a unspoken rivalry of the Bulldogs versus the fucking Bobcat girls. Which honestly, another side note, I wish they actually touched more on this since they were both handling the festival. I wish there was like at least more story when it comes to that, which I'm also going to mention this again as I go into the grading system. So they just threw in Scott Buttergood's vampire looking ass here to do some animal herding, which you might be thinking, oh, is this something new? No, this is something that we had before at Starshine Ranch. It is literally just the same thing we've done at Starshine Ranch, but in Moreland. Brilliant innovation for activities, SSO. Brilliant innovation. On top of that, they even gave the same amount of XP. You just put tokens and said, this is something new. And then, of course, they have more overpriced shit added to the store. More inanimate objects that cost a shit ton of money. Great! They also increased the rewards for if you fucking got the big daily or weekly, monthly first place of like daily races, where now you can get one of the following Jorvik shilling amounts of 300, 1,000, and 2,000 Jorvik shillings. You know, SSO, since you're basically trying to add more Yorvik shillings to get in the game, you should really consider taking away that 10k Yorvik shillings cap. You know your shit's expensive, SSO, especially how fucking clothes in this game have at this point cap at 10k start. My ass almost said 10k start coins. 10k Yorvik shillings. And then, of course, they also accidentally removed the Alcotiques and Appaloozas a bit too early, so they brought them back for 2 weeks. So let's also pay our respects to the Gen 1 Alcotiques and Appaloozas. Thank you. Alright, so this was very uneventful in terms of in-game, but it was very eventful outside of the game. I just can't believe y'all actually managed to release an unreleased horse. Like, were y'all just drunk that day? Were y'all just too high and you just fucking released everything? Y'all, I'm not gonna be surprised when they accidentally release a quest. Alright, before we get into weeks 3 and 4, yes, I'm combining these two because they basically make up one whole quest. Here is our intermission.
Oh my god! Wow!
Cause we're not gonna be breathing out of both nostrils this season.
Alright, hope y'all enjoyed the intermission. We're now going to be going over weeks 3 and 4. So, for starters with week 3, we have also got the rest of the new variations. We got a Fleabin English Thoroughbred, and then a chestnut Arabian. And of course we had a return of that elite cross-country open house race, and then they decided, hey, we're going to have you get tokens by recycling shit with Big Bonnie's trash simulator and also add daily quests to get tokens. Brilliant innovation, SSO. Brilliant innovation. And then we also got new pets, and that was when we got another free raven, and this time it's a brown one. Then they also had this other one, which of course you have to pay fucking money for that shit. And then they have another fucking balloon, which, no offense y'all, but this balloon is basically just that fucking orange pumpkin balloon, but just erased the fucking face on it and said this is a new balloon. Dear God. So this new quest has unfortunately incorporated one of the unfortunate, disgraced Dark Riders that are updated. They decided it was a brilliant idea to incorporate Sabine's funky ass. Not just any Sabine, a crusty ass Sabine. Also, I'm gonna be honest, y'all, when they showed the sneak peek videos,
Dude! What the fuck?
with this camera angle, she looks fucking ugly. I'm sorry. As y'all know on this channel, I have a severe problem with how they did Sabine, Jessica, and the 4th Dark Rider when updating them, except Kaja. I'm fine with how they did Kaja. Every fucking buddy else, what the fuck kind of shit you were smoking? As for week 4, honestly, it was just like, okay, you get double the horse XP and shit, and add another race that you get from this quest and shit, which, okay. And of course they talk more about the horse bonding thing and how you can look at the purchase window and shit now, which, okay, great, fine. Okay, now let's just go dive into whatever the fuck this story quest was. Dear God, for this event. So you start out by running into Linda and Alex at the open house area of the event, and they talked about how they want to do a booth based on druids and technology. So you go around and looking for shit, which, by the way, when doing this fucking quest, for some reason this shit took me 3 minutes to try to find the fucking islands, because with how the circles were placed on the map, it was very small. This might have just been a me problem, who the hell knows, but my ass basically just had been going back and forth places until I finally found where the sparkles were, which also they made you get off your horse to go pick up the shit, and after a bippity boppity boo, you got this useless booth that's not gonna be used again. So then after that they're like, why don't you go just take a break and do one of these recycled content races? Okay, Linda. So then after that they're like, okay, now go put up these flyers. You go put up flyers, and then, oh no, oh God, a wild crusty Sabine is entering the premise. Oh no, how terrifying.
Let me just go in the bush and weep. Let me just go in the bush and weep. I just have to go in the bush and weep. Really. I don't understand.
Y'all can already tell that I'm not really gonna enjoy this. So after you have a heart attack for some reason, you then go back and tattletale to Linda and Alex about seeing Sabine's funky, crusty, disgusting ass, and they're like, oh my God, she's plotting some shit. We're gonna need to get ready to spot her. She probably was the one causing shit in the morning with the animals going and shit from week 2 and some other bullshit, having trash on the floor. This is a disgrace on humanity, and we need to stop her. Oh no, fucking balloons. Oh God. I need a minute. Okay, so all of a sudden they found out that fucking balloons are on the loose, so you go run the balloons, which, y'all, please just look at how these balloons follow. Like, what the fuck? And then on top of this, for a side note, y'all, they for real had a problem with the fact that she's in the same area when this is an event. Like, what the fuck? This is as equivalent as fucking Karen's having an issue with somebody just having their presence in the general area. Like, dear God. So after you give them back the balloons, they then recluse to a corner that's a brilliant spying spot. Well done, guys. And Alex, having a fucking hissy fit, just goes, yo, spy on fucking Sabine's crusty ass. So you go spy on her ass by just picking up shit. And it's just Sabine running around in the arena. Nothing new. Look, I get that you're trying to have some cool ass plot thing for your event, but this just feels very forced. So then you come back and then you report to Alex and Linda and they're like, we need to keep an eye on her. She's fucking doing something and we're going to find out. And you honestly, can you just look at this like logically? The woman's at a festival and she can do whatever the fuck she wants at said festival. Honestly, y'all, the fact that they overhyped this quest to the gods, it's honestly just not necessarily a good first part of this quest, man. So then, was the next part better? No. So, next part. You then go back and talk to Alex and Linda again, and they're like, alright, we have enough of having her here. Just her presence irks me. Let's go and confront this bitch. And by confronting, they mean just send you in and do this shit. So you go up and confront crusty Sabine. And when I saw this facial expression, I generally just hated him. I'm sorry. I really tried, y'all. I really tried to go in and say, maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay. It wasn't okay. I officially figured out what made me irk about what I just generally didn't like whenever I looked at her face. And it was the fucking lips and how the eyelashes looked, man. Like, I'm just like, and of course the crusty ass hair. Honestly, I'll be very honest. What in the world is this attractive? Don't get me wrong, muscular woman is much needed, but put this on a new character, not an existing character. Dear God. Like, honestly, her fucking biceps just looked like she injected some steroids in and shit. I'm just like, oh lord. So then Sabine is like fucking having an issue with you and that sort of shit. And honestly, as I'm sitting here and listening to how Sabine's talking, it just feels very out of the norm. It didn't feel like I was talking to Sabine like I normally would. And I'm gonna dive into more about how I feel about the quest later. But overall, she fucking has an issue and she was like, I'm just teaching these right like some nilsons. Not everybody wants to be in a fucking club. And having an emo ass moment about clubs and shit and life and all of that. And then she has you do these races as tests for her and that sort of shit. Then talks more about emo shit about clubs, trying to actually act like this. But also, another side note, the way she honestly talks like fucking emo on right now. So I'm officially going to call this bitch emo crusty Sabine. Cause what the hell? So she also earlier promised your character that she will do a race with you, which, okay. So after you do her test, she's like, you know, the world is just a bad place. So we're going to cause some chaos. And she talks about how she wants you to go and let loose some pigs. Okay, I'm gonna just stop right here for a sec. SSO honey, did you just completely forgot about how to make Dark Riders evil? You really think that having animals on the loose, balloons all over the place, and trash is going to cause chaos? And not just any chaos. Chaos on the level of a Dark Rider, which, no offense, but remember, Sabine is a Dark Rider where she's very fucking powerful, and you give her this as something that's supposed to be chaotic. If this is what you think how the Dark Rider should be in terms of chaos, something's wrong with you, and I'm gonna be very fucking worried when you start to do the full updated Dark Riders together. Cause on top of that, the way that she's talking, she's acting like she's completely forgot about being a part of the Dark Riders, which is honestly, generally that's her club. Like, what the fuck? So I decided to release the pigs because I wanted to see if this would actually at least bring some fucking life into how bored I was with this quest. Honestly, y'all, it was very anticlimactic. I wish they would have actual reactions to this shit happening, because honestly, it just felt like we didn't make any impact to the actual area. However, I did like how you at least let our character talk about if they want to do this choice or not. That's a nice touch, but honestly, it just felt like we didn't really have any sort of impact. So after doing this, I did look at what happens if you didn't release the pigs. So I'm going to tell the two differences. When you release the pigs and you tell her, yeah, we released the pigs, Sabine will be fairly impressed. And also she'll be like, I knew you would see the same way as I would. Or some sort of random shit, which is very out of character for her. And also another thing, when talking to you about the races, she was like, show me what you got. Which is not really something a Sabine thing would say, because she's supposed to be a rude bitch. This was like a watered down rude, no offense. It was like a watered down Loretta, oh god. So if you didn't open the gate, regardless if you lied to her or not, she will know that you did not do it. And she will also call you out saying like, I know you're fucking lying, because you actually didn't do it. So then after that, she then was like, okay, fuck, why are you still here? And we were like, you promised us a race, bitch. Sabine, did you become an airhead when you get updated? Dear God. And she was like, oh yeah, I fucking forgot. So we then do a chase race where she fucking runs off like as if she's on crack. And here's how that race went. Honestly though, the music for this race, it was nice. I then looked up later, there was another one of SSO's Vivo music groups, which is Miss Crescent. Okay, I can honestly admit the song's pretty fucking good. After you do the chase thing, she first gives you 500 XP, and then when you get to do it again, you actually get 1,000 horse XP, which is a shit ton. And with that, she's like, why the fuck are you still here again? You go back and tell Linda and Alex what the fuck happened. And regardless of what option you pick on whether or not you say like, we actually had fun, or she's doing this, they're going to overreact and have an issue with anything Sabine is fucking doing. So then after that, that concludes the adventures of being with emo crusty Sabine for the rest of the fucking day. Now in general, this quest took me 32 minutes roughly, and this is minus the times I've got stuck or redoing a race. And in conclusion with how this whole quest went, this was a very short event quest if you honestly did this in a day. It's really not that exciting. It was basically just another overhyped quest, honestly. And for an event quest, I was expecting more. And also, once again, they did like what they did with that Galloper Thompson's quest with Linda, where we're gonna keep finding out later and then just abruptly end right there. Okay, SSO. Okay. So now that I have talked about all the weeks of this event, let's go right into the grading portion. Alright, before I get into the grading, for those of you who were on Instagram again prior to the Equestrian Festival starting, how good did y'all think the Equestrian Festival was going to be? And I gave my take saying that it was going to be a Glenrise open house and Red String Trail, but let's be honest, that actually ended up fucking happening. But the majority of y'all were near the it's gonna be shitty category. And then after the final week has occurred, I decided to ask y'all 3 sets of questions and also gave y'all a chance to voice what y'all's thoughts about the festival itself. I asked again if overall was the Equestrian Festival good, aka was it shitty, or was it actually good? And at first it was 50-50, but it leaned a little bit closer to the shitty side. And then I asked, should the Equestrian Festival happen again but improved? And most of y'all said yes. And then very few of y'all said I don't know or maybe. And then the final question was, did y'all think the Equestrian Festival was a good replacement for Easter, Valentine's Day, April Fools, etc.? And the overwhelming majority of y'all said hell nah. And then for the comment box on if any of you had any other concerns. And for those that answered, y'all have basically said that it was boring, Sabine's quest was forced, it was just open house but glamorized, etc. Alright, now I'm going to give my pros and cons of this event. For the pros, I love the incentive added to do chance to get actual horse XP and more Jorvik shillings, and I'm glad that this is going to be permanent after the event is over. I then like the nice range of new horse variations we added, because let's be honest, English thoroughbreds and Arabians are usually good for the most part. I also loved how it gave a lot of horse XP. I got 3 horses leveled up finally, thank God. I also liked some of the smooth animations that Sabine executed, even though it generally doesn't fit her as a character. And finally, out of that whole quest, surprisingly, I loved how they did Khan. So with that being said, Khan, you have officially graduated into being okay, and that I can deal with you for the rest of this main story quest. Thank God SSO did not make Khan get Krakoitis like the other Gen 3 fucking Frisians. And for the most part, he's smooth. SSO, if this doesn't show that we loved how y'all animated Khan, since he's actually chill and majestic, please actually fix the fucking Frisians. Because Khan is a beautiful example of what a Frisian should act and be. Thank you. Now let's get into the cons. For starters of the cons, we had the Passifino accident with them getting accidentally released, which once again, just how SSO. I don't know as one of y'all that did it are gonna get fired. We got very little rider XP after getting promised a big amount of XP, but it looks like they only did that for horses. Next, this whole event was basically just recycled content from already existing events, aka they just mashed the open house and red string trail event together and then just had a section of something at Moorland, but it was basically the same shit as well as the same system that we always have when it comes to event currency. Next, the story writing for this main big event story quest, it was overhyped and people were led to believe that this was going to be very fucking good when it was just very dry. Then, as expected, if y'all haven't guessed already, I did not like crusty ass Sabine, even before she was put into this game. The way she was written did not fit her as a character because she's not a fucking emo, depressed about the world person. She's supposed to be a rude equestrian bitch that has an issue with every damn thing. It's like Loretta where she just gets watered down. And this ties into my next con, where Alex and Linda in this quest as a character is so shittingly written. I don't get why all of a sudden y'all gotta make Alex and Linda have an issue with her just being at a fucking festival of all places. I can understand if this was like if she did something bad prior, but literally the woman just showed up to the festival. And I wish there was just a build up into actually being suspicious of Sabine and not just, oh, she's fucking right there, we're gonna have an issue with her. Another con, there was multiple missed opportunities for plots in the actual event. And what I'm referring to is that I wish they did something like Genshin Impact where they had other little storylines tied into the event to actually make the event feel alive. Next, as expected, overpriced shit. SSO honey, you gotta understand that inanimate objects should not cost 350 star coins, let alone the actual animated pets shouldn't even cost 350 star coins since they don't do shit. They just jump out of your backpack and look pretty. They don't do anything else. Next, this whole event was just a dragged out open house with not really giving much each week. It was just glamorized with the sprinkles of having different appearances at Moorland and different appearances at Jorvik Stables. And my last con, I honestly felt like this whole event experience did not invoke something exciting enough to actually replace the events they took away, due to how this was basically just older shit that's typically boring for the most part due to the fact that it's the same thing over and over, but it was just wrapped in fancy wrapping paper paper and bows and said it's new, when literally this is the same stuff we've done for years with added sprinkles of quote-unquote new stuff. Plus, also forgot to add this, but the main big quest was short for saying this was going to be a big-ass quest. Bitch, this is actually 32 minutes just about if you combined week 3 and 4. It is not a long-ass quest. Alright, so how this grading is going to work. I have separated these into categories: activities, planning, character incorporation, purchasable products, tokens or not, presentation, quests, horse XP, and rider XP. These categories will be given a scale of 5, and then we will calculate them into a scale of 10. So for activities, I gave that a 0.5 out of 5. Same goes for planning. It also got a 0.5 out of 5 due to how dry it was in general. Character incorporation, 2 out of 5 because, let's be honest, I'm glad they brought in some other characters, but they didn't really have a purpose outside of the ones that were in the main story event quest. Presentation, 2.5 out of 5. It looked alright. It just looked like any other SSO event, but there wasn't really anything new besides just having some quote-unquote eye-catching stuff to be excited for, really, but there wasn't really much excitement. Quests, 1.5 out of 5. The quests were just very fucking bland, even outside of the main story quest. Literally, you just had, once again, you just had plots either unfinished or characters just sitting there without any other purpose. Horse XP, 5 out of 5. We got a shit ton of horse XP, and I do gotta admit that Sabine's race was an excellent horse XP boost with giving 1000 XP. Rider XP, 0.5 out of 5. Honestly, I feel like we just got at least like 100 or below 100 XP, because dear God, why y'all give so much little rider XP when literally players in the game are either almost about to be level 24 or stuck in level 23, 22, 21, etc. Y'all need to think how you do your leveling with rider XP, because we fucking need rider XP. So the overall score, all that add up to 35, and out of 35 it was a 14.5, and then calculating it to a 10 grade scale, it was a 4.43 just about out of 10. This wasn't a good fucking event, y'all. I'm sorry. I can understand SSO is trying. However, this just goes to show that some of y'all have just gotten so used to the shitty content to where y'all will just take anything and say that SSO is getting better. I feel like they're trying, but they're not really making good attempts. It's more of hit or miss every single time. Very rarely it's actually going to hit where I actually feel satisfied. And especially with this new event system, I'm worried how they're going to actually do the summer, Halloween, etc. Honestly, SSO, I think you should just bring back the events that you've taken out, because it's obvious that the fucking Equestrian Festival wasn't that good. Honestly, y'all could have just Yorvixized those events since y'all were Yorvixizing anything else. Plus, SSO, you need to think about more permanent content than temporary content, because we're actually going to be fucking bored again for this next month coming up. Alright, with that being said, now that I have finished this whole damn review, I decided to make y'all a little something in honor of my birthday, and also kind of just in general for the fact that we also hit over 600 subscribers. So with that being said, thank y'all so much for watching. Enjoy this last part of this video.